We're going to switch gears here and go back to our hurricane coverage of Hurricane Milton. It's closing in on Florida's west coast. This is a live look from Tampa on the right side. You can see visibility very low. On the left side, you can see from this radar image that it's an extremely dangerous hurricane. First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez has been tracking Milton's path. At what point is it expected to land?
Yeah, tonight, Sean, tonight. I think around 10, 11, midnight, that's when we'll see Milton make landfall. But even though it hasn't even made landfall yet, it has already created numerous tornadoes across Florida, already seeing some flooding happening. Those green boxes are flash flood warnings we have for much of central Florida, with tornado warnings in and around the Orlando area as well. Here's how it looks on First Alert radar. You can see the eye of Milton about 100 miles southwest of Tampa, Florida, and it is moving to the northeast at about 17 miles an hour. It has weakened as expected. This was part of the forecast. We knew it was a 5, and when it was a 5, that it would weaken as it approaches Florida. But although weakening, it's still a very strong hurricane. Right now, a Category 3 hurricane with 125-mile-an-hour winds. It is forecast to make landfall this evening, very close to the Tampa Bay, Sarasota, Anna Maria Island area, and then move inland. Very heavy downpours, especially on the north side of this storm. Then moving south of the Orlando area overnight into very early Thursday morning. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, the eye of that storm is already moving back out into the Atlantic, and then it will move out to sea. As it moves east, we are going to see some of those outermost rain bands across southeast Georgia, including the Georgia coast. The hardest hit areas will be Florida, really from coast to coast, where we do have hurricane warnings in effect all the way into Daytona Beach and even Fort Pierce. This is where hurricane force winds are expected. Then we've got tropical storm warnings along the South Carolina and Georgia coast. That's where we will see the possibility of tropical storm wind gusts. That's wind gusts of 39 miles an hour. So Georgia and the South Carolina coast will feel some impacts, although no impacts expected for us here in North Georgia. Very heavy rain. We've already seen it. We already have flash flooding happening, and more is on the way. A 70% of flash flooding across Tampa, Sarasota, into Orlando, Melbourne, and then towards Daytona Beach. So this is going to dump the possibility of over 10 inches of rain. We're also dealing with an incredible storm surge. Could see 10 to 15-foot storm surge over the Sarasota area, 8 to 12-foot storm surge in Tampa. You saw all the damage that Helene brought to Tampa, St. Pete, Sarasota, Anna Maria Island, and with that storm, we had a 4 to 8-foot storm surge. So you're talking about exponential amounts of water that will be heading to the west coast of Florida. Over our area, it is incredibly gorgeous. We're far enough away from Milton that we will not see any impacts. It's 80 right now. It will be cool tonight. We'll drop down to 58 degrees with beautiful weather tomorrow. Tomorrow, not quite as warm as today. We'll warm to the upper 70s, and then we'll start to see those cooler nights ahead. Low 50s Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. And all eyes on next week. Could there be 40s in that 7-day forecast? It appears that way. 46 waking up Wednesday morning. It looks like next Wednesday, highs will only be in the mid 60s.
Jennifer, thank you. More young